Hi, my name is Amy. Thank you very much for watching, and let's make some bad financial decisions together. This is for entertainment purposes only, so if you're entertained, please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. So I have been seeing a lot of people really hype WPAY, and I have been a little bit hesitant to cover this. And it's really because it is leveraged. And I know what you're thinking if you have been here before, because I am basically the leverage queen. Like almost all of my portfolio is leveraged. In my retirement account, in my taxable accounts, like everything is leveraged. Like my entire, except for the gold, literally most of my portfolio is leveraged, and yet I'm still hesitant to talk about and recommend WPAY. So let's go through it. What is WPAY? It is their universe fund where they take all of their Friday pairs and they pay you the average, just like they take it all and they divide it evenly and they give you the distribution. And so the weekly pay ETFs, they don't even use options. They don't sell puts, they don't sell calls. What they do is it is 1.2 times leverage. And so at the end of the week, if the stock price has gone up, then you're good. You just get that 0.2 times the NAV recovered. We're doing great. In the down market, though, because it doesn't use options or anything like that, it just builds in your panic selling. So it gives you the implied volatility back. So it's WPAY is not going to do well in a down market or in a sideways market. However, I do believe buying into WPAY in a down market is probably I'm not recommending anything, but if I had any kind of strategy, buying it while it's down would be the strategy for WPAY. I just think that people might get lulled into a false sense of security because it does have, well, right now it has 12 holdings, but if you look at it, it's highly concentrated into AI. And yeah, mostly AI, because you have AMD, you have NVIDIA and Microsoft and Netflix and Google and Meta, and Palantir. So, and Broadcom also are all associated with AI. Also, Tesla. Tesla's biggest push right now is their AI autonomous vehicles. So I'm just gonna, and Apple. So most of these, the best part about this is that they also have Berkshire Hathaway and that it is 1/12 of the holding. So even if AI falls off a cliff, this entire thing will probably not go down to zero, hopefully. But in the future, when they add more weekly pays and they're not so concentrated in just AI related things, I think that this will continue to be a very strong fund. I like all of these holdings. I'm not afraid to be in any of these. I think that Roundhill has been very selective and that these are all very strong companies that in the next 3 to 5 years, most of these at least should be higher than they are today. And that's what you want when you have leverage. You want to be in things that are going up and to the right, generally. So what would I compare WPAY to? It's still YMAX and maybe a little bit ULTY. So ULTY is not leveraged, but because they have such high implied volatility stocks, it does act like it's leveraged. So what I did was total real returns, and WPAY has not been out for that long. So if you look here from September 4th to September 26th, ULTY has the better total return. So it would be $10,396.32. YMAX would be in the middle with $10,334. WPAY would have $10,299. But last week, Wednesday, Thursday, were kind of a down market. So we look at that. YMAX has $9,859. ULTY has $9,839, and WPAY has $9,818. So I am interested to see how WPAY does in more than just these couple of weeks that it's been around. I would really love for October to be a really big bull market, and so we can have it be in that situation as well. Also, just like for my entirely leveraged portfolio, that would be amazing. But the reason why I do like YMAX more just at the moment is the fact that it's not leveraged. And it has well, I'm not going to download all the holdings, but they have BABA, which is international. They have oil and gold, and they have they have Moderna, which is a good and a bad thing, but basically they are leveraged. They have an over concentration in Bitcoin and AI, because Bitcoin and AI is what has high implied volatility right now. However, they also have other industries. So if one sector goes completely dark, and even if the S&P 500 goes down 7%, a specific stock could go down 90%. So even if that happens, since they have 30, 40 of these single stock ETFs, hopefully the entire fund won't implode. So at the moment, I do like YMAX better than I like WPAY, but that's not stopping me from buying into WPAY. I also remember YMAX as being around a 40 to 50% distribution rate. I think at the moment we just had a couple of weeks where we had lower volatility, so it is saying 33%. But at that point, I would rather have a 40% distribution rate on something that's not leveraged than a 50% distribution rate on something that is leveraged. And it's just one of those things. It's the same paradigm of, well, when you have a distribution rate that is lower, like all of the SPYs, or something that is comparable to what you could get for T-SPY, then I would rather go with the more diversified thing. Because if you can get a 20% distribution rate and it be on the S&P 500, then I believe that that's more diversified, and therefore won't have as much price fluctuations, hopefully, in your portfolio as like a single stock or whatever crazy thing we're talking about. So I do think over time, WPAY is going to get better. I like the funds that Roundhill has decided to include in their WPAY. I think that I don't want to recommend leverage products to anybody, because I can tell you that I'm excited about them, that I'm comfortable investing in them. I am more comfortable than most people around leveraged things. But I think that before we get hyped and we want to go full on into something like WPAY, that we should be mindful and mentally prepared for a pullback and a down market, because it is going to be a 1.2 times amplified downturn, which is great if you have some cash and you want to get into it and you think in the long term these companies are the winners. I think that being strategic with how you invest in WPAY is how we want to do this. And so if we go to YieldMight, which is something I made from scratch, and we look, WPAY, it declares on Mondays. And also, if we go and we filter by issuer, Roundhill Investments is here. WPAY's on Monday, ETH and YBTC's on Tuesday, the 0-day expirations are on Wednesday, Thursday is Maggie, and then Friday is all of the weekly pays. So I really like the fact that they are on different days, which means you can have the amount that you want into WPAY. When that pays, you can pay into the ones that you want to. Well, I mean, you could just have it in all of these evenly, but you can also just invest more in the ones that you have specific conviction in. And when these pay, then you can just pay it into WPAY, or you can, if like I would just put it into like WPAY pays into YMAX, YMAX pays into whatever ones from here, these pay into WPAY, and then you have yourself a little daisy chain into all that. I think finding your balance with this and how much leverage your portfolio, like what is your risk tolerance and how much are you willing to see your portfolio have an outsized loss versus the S&P 500. I think that should probably guide you more about what we are willing to invest in WPAY and any of these, because a lot of these weekly ones do have leverage because they really need the NAV to recover and they only have 5 work days to do it. So, I would like to show you, let's go to localhost. So I have created a sign-in, and since I've signed in before, it won't take me to the Auth0 page, but yeah, you can sign in. This is not deployed yet. I've just been working on it and I'm pretty proud of myself. So the reason why we're getting a login now is I am working towards getting banners and advertisement on YieldMight, and if you do not want to see banners, then you'll be able to directly pay for a subscription to not see those things for the most part. So I'm also working on the pricing page, and how this is going to work is annually it would be one price, standard it would be a different price, so you get like a 50% discount for paying for your yearly subscription by the year. And then I'm looking into affiliate programs where it would be like an additional 50% off, and that way it really would be like $15 a year, which is around $1 a month. And we could have the deluxe, we'll have a couple of different things for now that will be available to people that pay for it. And so I was just keeping it simple for everyone. I really like YieldMight being a free tool. I don't pay for anything really, but since I'm trying to do YieldMight and full-time basically, and YouTube, and do my other ideas that I've been trying to work through, I do need some income as the hedge against my over-leveraged portfolio, which is a bunch of over-leveraged crap. So I was just showing you. I'm not entirely sure how the affiliate for the affiliates will work. I would like it if it was something like the creator that you use the referral link for would get like 10 cents a month until you cancel your subscription. And that way you're paying $1, they get 10 cents. I pay the fee for the transfer of that to them. But that way we can continue not just me being sustainable, but your favorite creators that you use the referral for, that they get some kind of royalty for referring you in the first place to YieldMate. So I think that will be a good ecosystem for everybody. But anyways, thank you so much, Shane, Bill, Patriotic Spalding, BGP Automotive, in my opinion, Jetta, and Omega Werewolf X for being members. You're making it easier for me right now to do all of this full time, and I really do appreciate you. And today on Financial Philharmonics, we have Dollar Eyes, which is a Bhangra pop song about please don't get too greedy and do your homework. And then we have Happiness in the Now, which was published yesterday, and that's like a disco pop, vintagey sounding song. And it's really about the arrival fallacy of you can use goals. Goals are great. Just don't use a goal to say, I will be happy when, because that's not how happiness works. You need to figure out how to be happy now in the life that you already have, and then have goals to improve your future, because that's how I motivate myself. I like having goals. I'm pretty goal oriented, but it's not about happiness. It's just about the feeling of achievement that I like. So that's what Financial Philharmonics is. In conclusion, I like WPAY. I just don't want to recommend it because it is leverage. And I don't know why it's such a weird line in the sand for me, because I have talked about the single ones and I've clearly been very excited about them. But I think the fact that it's a basket of stocks, which I love. I love these that are indexes because you don't have to agree. Like, if you don't know about Broadcom and you know nothing about it, but you like all of the rest of these, then you can just get into WPAY and hope for the best. You don't have to deep dive into an index because it's just an index and you've agreed that you like the strategy. So I do like ULTY, YMAX, and WPAY, just because they are a basket of funds, but it might lull people into a sense of security and then over leverage themselves in this and then get themselves into trouble. And that is what my concern with WPAY is. So hopefully that made sense. Are you planning on being in WPAY? Are you already in WPAY? And how much of your portfolio is in leverage? And I will talk to you later. Bye.